All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Remember, for all my people not in the United States, we had daylight savings time over the weekend, which means that we lost an hour. So this would normally be what, 5:17 market time or 6:17 Eastern Standard Time. This would normally be 6:17, but we've had more strikes over the weekend here. Going into the market this week, we've had a lot of stuff go on. There's a lot of stuff that happened. Let's talk about it. So over the weekend, coalition forces hit Iranian oil refineries and storage sites for the first time. This damaged a lot of facilities and refineries and worsened Iran's domestic energy crisis. Analysts now estimate that roughly 20% of global crude and gas supply is effectively suspended as there's a near total blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. This forces Saudi, UAE, Iraq, and Kuwait to halt or reroute about 140 million barrels of oil in shipments. Qatar has declared force majeure on liquefied natural gas (LNG) exports after strikes as well, and markets are treating this as more supply shocks and a longer conflict worry. Keeps a big risk premium in both crude and gas. You can see crude went all the way up. WTI, West Texas Intermediate crude, went all the way up to $119, almost $120 a barrel. It's sitting at $103 a barrel right now. And so some of the worries last week we got about oil pushing to over $100 a barrel were absolutely true. If you look at what Brent crude is this morning, let's see what Brent crude pricing is right now. I think it's higher. Yeah, it's like 105s right now for Brent crude. And so oil is up. It's elevated. There's fears. Yeah. Stuff's going on right now, guys. Stuff's going on. Let me get my chat docket thing out here. There we go. Should let me push it. Will it put it up there? Okay, that works. Big dumps coming. Hey, we'll see. Big dumps coming. Yeah. Hey, like I said, we'll see. We'll see. I hope not. What's up, Dragos, Jonathan, Womble, Bog, Brad, Brian, P. Defense is up. Yeah, we see some defense names up. I think if you look at like Palantir, NASDAQ, I think there's a couple things to talk about with the NASDAQ here, but we'll go into it. Palantir is actually down a little bit. Where's Lockheed Martin? Lockheed Martin's up slightly. Oil is up. But I think we have some relevant levels to watch here on the NASDAQ. We had a really weak jobs report last week. We lost 92,000 jobs averaged on the month here. So not a good jobs report last week is influencing things, and this is going into this week where we have CPI inflation, we have JOLTS job reports, we have GDP data, we have PCE inflation data, and more this week. So we got a bunch of economic reports this week, to be honest. But yeah, look, if we look at the NASDAQ here, I think the biggest level in the NASDAQ is exactly what we tested last night, which is 24,000 even. On the NASDAQ. Look, we went right down to 24,000 even here on the NQ yesterday. Look at it, 24,000 even here, which very rarely happens. This level right here, I think, is the big line in the sand that markets are pricing in, this $24,000 level. It's right there. It's a big whole dollar number. It's the low. And we haven't really been this low, under 24,000 in how long? It's been a while since we've been under 24,000 in the NQ. Last time we tested this level was back in November of last year. November of last year was the last time we were under 24,000, and you can just kind of see how close we're getting to this level here. And so just to put this into perspective in terms of percentages, all right, because there's a lot of worries about a market crash right now. In terms of percentages, if you look at how much we pulled back from the all-time high at about 26,400, and let's just use 24,000 as a level here, that is a 9% drop from highs up here on the NASDAQ, a 9% drop. If we look at oil this morning, even like WTI crude, oil since late February was at 63.60s for WTI. It is now at 105s. So even where we're at now for oil is up 65% from where it was in February. 65% increase for oil relative to where it was in February. And so Yeah, it's a scary time right now. It's a scary time. Will we get a dip? Will we get a crash today? Let's see. Let's do a poll. What's a good poll for this morning? Yeah, 93 octane gas was like 450 when I went to the pump this weekend. It was like 450. It was not low. It was not low. Yeah, so we did have news regarding Palantir here that says they must remove Anthropic's Claude AI from Maven Smart Systems military platform following a Pentagon directive. Robinhood also launched a $658 million venture fund on New York Stock Exchange. It's the ticker RVI at $25 a share. Retail access to private tech companies is what it's offering. We also have Coinbase launching 24/5 commission-free stock and ETF trading as part of Everything Exchange strategy. It's down, though, for Robinhood. Netflix acquired AI filmmaking company Interpositive. It was founded by Ben Affleck using part of its $2.8 billion breakup fee to integrate AI tools into its content. Boeing is closing in on a major aircraft order from China as well here, but is HIMS up 48%? I don't think I'm in HIMS anymore, to be honest. I think I cut it. We also had the EU Commission spokesperson declines to comment on the price of oil and gas this morning. He says, we are far less concerned about the security of supply of oil and gas than we are about high energy prices, end quote. The U.S. has also suspended consulate services in southern Turkey. But yeah, what's going on right now? Let's just talk about it. So, refineries in Iran were hit over the weekend. They hit two major Tehran area refineries and oil storage sites in Iran. For the first time, this is taking actual refining capacity offline. Is what's going on. It's deepening the domestic crisis over there. Hormuz has gone from risky to try to go through to essentially, to effectively closed. So the Strait of Hormuz has gone from risky to essentially closed. The IDF has also begun waves of strikes in Tehran and other places in southern Iran, they say. But again, Iranian drones and missiles damaged multiple tankers, and the IRGC is openly warning it will attack U.S. ships. Ship tracking data shows traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has collapsed, meaning up to 20% of global oil flows are disrupted right now. And this is one of the reasons oil has made such big, crazy moves here. Now, a lot of this happened yesterday, during yesterday's market. But oil, volatile. NASDAQ is down this morning. And Qatar liquefied natural gas is off the grid as well. Qatar Energy halted LNG production after drone attacks, declared force majeure, and signaled at least a month of lost LNG output. The energy minister there is now warning that if this continues, all Gulf exporters may have to declare force majeure as well, which markets are treating as a giant gas and LNG outage. And so again, strikes and threats have also hit Saudi and UAE territories, forcing temporary closures there as well, and making insurers raise premiums or refuse Strait of Hormuz transits. It does amplify the supply risks. So yeah, over the weekend, this stopped being a vibes-only war. It became a real barrel and BTU problem. Refineries, Hormuz shut, Qatar LNG offline. Crude is up today. So yeah, the only futures markets that are green this morning, P says, are oil, natty gas, soybeans, corn, and wheat. Everything else is red. Is this bullish or bearish, guys? I see a Middle Tennessee watcher guy saying it's time to buy. It's only a scary time if you make it a scary time. Yeah, what was the Rockefeller quote? It was, the time to buy is when blood is running in the streets, even if that blood is your own, or something like that. It was something like that. Everything is bearish. Yeah, let's do a poll. With all the craziness over the weekend, is it time to buy or sell this morning? I'm gonna give you guys a neither option. With all the craziness over the weekend, poll is now live. With all the craziness With all the craziness over the weekend, is it time to buy, sell, or neither? Is the poll. Vote. We start red and then we end the day green. Blood flowing today. I only know how to buy. It's time to wait. There might be some stuff to buy right now. I don't know. Again, this is on the heels of a bad jobs report last week. And so the worries this week, I think, are going to be in terms of inflation. Because right now, the worry is a stagflation environment. What do I mean by that? I mean, last week we had a pretty weak jobs report. Showed up at negative 92,000 for non-farm payrolls. Negative 92,000. They expected a gain of 50, 60,000. They showed up at negative 92,000 on Friday last week. Freaked markets out. Scared everybody. Now the worries are regarding inflation. And so if we have weak jobs and high inflation, a lot of people are going to consider this a stagflation environment, which can sometimes precede a recession, which is what a lot of people are worried about now. And with two major inflation reports this week we don't get just one inflation report. We get multiple. We get CPI inflation, which is probably the biggest, on Wednesday. And then we get PCE inflation, which is actually the Fed's preferred inflation metric, on Friday, along with GDP. And so it's not just one this week, it's multiple big reports this week. And so, yeah, that's the question is, are we in a stagflation environment? Chat, what do you guys think? Are we in a stagflation environment right now? I'm feeling bullish on popcorn. Gonna eat some on the sidelines. I don't even blame you. Not a good sign? Yeah, I feel you, man. I get it. I think things are still looking kind of scary right now in markets, to be honest. They're still looking a little scary. A bunch of data comes out this week, and we'll see if it helps or hurts this current market. But oil prices elevated right now. Oil prices are elevated. I see Vincent saying a red Monday is incoming. Dirty Sal saying we are in a hyperinflation environment. Stagflation, endless war. Welcome to the golden age. My guy says I'm bullish on the like button. Hey, there's reasons to be bullish on it. There's reasons to be bullish. Yeah, earlier we had Japan's foreign minister. He spoke with some Iranian leaders as well. EU Commission spokesperson says there's discussion at G7 on whether to release strategic oil reserves. And this is after the IDF said they're beginning waves of strikes in Tehran and others. By golden age, he meant put all your savings in gold. I'm not an investment professional, guys. Remember, I'm not liable if you lose money. What the heck is going on? Hold up. My disclaimer. I don't know what happened to it. Here, hold on. I gotta fix this. Okay. It's basically fixed. I gotta make this disclaimer over everything. Hold on. Remember, guys, I am terrible and might have no idea what I'm talking about. Nothing here is investment advice. We are not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. Be safe in markets right now. Be safe. Not an investment professional. Nothing here is financial advice. Do not copy me. All that good stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it, guys. FedEx stocks down. Let's take a look at our poll here. So we asked people, is it time to buy, sell, or wait? 39% say it's time to buy. 39%. 28% say it's time to sell. 32% say neither. Oil can be fun to trade, especially when it's really trendy. Yeah, I saw that. That was a few days ago regarding that quote. Yeah, the Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson provided details on tensions, though. He did say He dismissed the possibility of ceasefire negotiations, calling them irrelevant. Dude, my monitor's doing the weird thing where it flashes again here. Hold on. Uh-oh. Oh well. In other words, no one has any idea. SoFi. Is HIMS up? Let's take a look at HIMS. HIMS is up. Basically back where I bought it though, so I mean, we didn't lose that much. SoFi. I'm in SoFi still. SoFi's still down. Does oil go higher versus where it's at now, chat? Is oil going to continue to spike versus where it's at now? Yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Amazon says Amazon Pharmacy offers Zebbound at $2.99. They're going to expand same-day delivery to 4,500 cities by the end of this year. Yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Here, guys. We're going to look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin still sitting at 67s here. Here's Bitcoin right here. So this is after we had a really weak jobs report last week. They didn't really move down like a lot of people expected them to from it. But Bitcoin 67.5s. Yeah, so they're down from Friday's close for Bitcoin. Oof. Scary market. I'm surprised we don't have more bears in the chat this morning, though. I really am. I'm surprised that bears aren't as prevalent in the chat today. Are you bullish or bearish? But yeah, again, I'm going to go back to this. In the NASDAQ, we got a really specific level that I think we have to watch. And I think that's 25 or 24,000 right here. We have not been under 24,000 really since November of 2025. So here's this 24,000 level. I think this is probably one of the big whole dollar numbers you want to pay attention to this morning. I think you probably want to watch 24,000. It's right there. Too many gap ups and downs. The bears died shorting oil. The bears already made their money. Yeah, I mean, the VIX, if we take a look at it, is $32 right now, basically. It hit 35s. So, VIX is elevated. NASDAQ is starting to bounce, though. Look at the NASDAQ. Here's the 200 exponential right here. So, the NASDAQ is starting to head back up. And so, we're getting some mixed signals here this morning in terms of things. There's still some fear, for sure, going on right now. But the NASDAQ's starting to rebound. And the NASDAQ, honestly, isn't really down that much. So we gapped down for sure. Here's Sunday's gap down in the NASDAQ right here. So we ended the week last week here. NASDAQ opened up here, originally dropped straight down to 24,000 and then rebounded all the way back up to 24.4s where we're at now. So we're right around 24.4s here. So we filled some of this gap. We're still gapping down though about this much. But we filled some we filled some of this gap down. Again, we're still down to about right here from closing about right here. So this is the size of the gap down this morning. It's not necessarily small, but it's still in a range. A lot of fear. Yeah. Kind of nervous about coming to the USA for the World Cup. Well, I mean, I don't know. Depends on where you're coming from, I guess. Gonna start nibbling on SoFi, down a lot despite good earnings. I'm in SoFi right now. It's not a huge position. Yeah, down seems to drop more. Okay, so UAE, the United Arab Emirates, is commenting on drone and missile attacks from March 9th. On March 9th, they say one drone fell inside the country, intercept 17 out of 18 drones fired. So most of them did not get through. Music stopped? There it is. Okay, I was gonna say. Yeah, I'm not a big football. I like football, but I like American football. I was never good at soccer. I think I probably I skateboarded, so I always use my feet a lot, but never got into soccer, as us Americans say. I played some FIFA though, you know. But I can't respect the fact that it's on American soil. Where is it? All right, guys. So if you're just now joining into the stream, oil elevated, fears high this morning. NASDAQ, S&P, Dow down today after more strikes happened over the weekend. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed, which means 20% of the world's oil supply is now down. If you've tried to buy gas recently here in the United States, gas is higher. For sure right now. Market fears are here. And again, this is heading into another week where we have two different inflation reports, GDP data coming out at the end of the week, the Jones job report coming out at the end of the week as well. After last week's really weak negative 92,000 jobs report. Yeah, I played hacky sack. Yeah. Hey, well, good luck, Scottish crypto. Looking at our poll, we asked people, with all the craziness going on, is it time to buy or sell this morning? 42% say it's time to buy. 32% say it's time to sell, and 27% say neither. So mostly buys showing up in chat right now. Airline stocks are probably going to be up today. Or no, wait. Down, I mean. Yeah, they're going to be down because of more disruptions there. I mean, sorry, not up. Here's United Airlines. It is down to $88. Lockheed Martin defense name is up. Palantir has to get rid of Claude's system for a directive by the Pentagon. And so they're down a little bit. Robinhood is getting into venture funds. Markets are not reacting well to this. And we have GE Aerospace. They're going to invest another $1 billion in U.S. manufacturing, and they're going to hire 5,000 workers in 2026 this year. Long hacky sacks? Definitely long. Realistically, I think hacky sacks might be... I don't know. Yeah, Hims is up. Novo. Gas went up 69% in 1 week. What about you, MU? I mean, I can look at MU. MU's basically flat on the day, but it's been on a downward trend for a while. But it's up a lot over the last 12 months as well. MU has gone from $61 to start the year, basically. A little bit over that, actually. Maybe 87s. All the way to $370. So MU, wild swings this year on the upside. It's now pulling back. The question is it a large enough pullback to get some value here on the dip? Dip from 450s down to 370s. Is it a large enough pullback? Gas is about to hit $4 a gallon this week. What's up, Chef? Is this a big enough dip? SanDisk has had some wild moves because of the price of memory and RAM. I don't know if anybody's tried to buy RAM lately, but it's expensive. SanDisk still at 20s though, so it's been making some swings back and forth. The swings in this thing make me nervous. It's gone from 695s after its earnings report all the way down to 525s, back up to 620 a couple times, but it looks like it's a longer downward trend. MU looks like it could retrace more. Hey, what's up, Rick? Good morning. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. We appreciate it. Bitcoin again, still at 67s. Did you just call me Jondon again? Are you trying to make that name pop off? Jondon? You don't know what a hacky sack is, brother? Come on now. Yeah, I knew that was coming, Jack. Maybe you may go back to 200. Man, look at oil, though, guys. Oil. Wild swings here this morning, man. Wild swings in oil. Yeah, wild swings in oil. We'll see if they hold, guys. It's kind of crazy. Oracle's now the only thing. Oracle has earnings this week. So Oracle does release their earnings this week. I believe it's either, what is it, Tuesday for Oracle earnings? So Oracle has earnings coming out. We have FCell this morning, Zim, a couple other small companies this morning. But we do have Oracle earnings this week. We have Hewlett Packard this evening, a couple other small ones. Neo tomorrow. I think Oracle tomorrow as well. Yeah, so it's tomorrow evening for Oracle earnings. They're expecting 170 EPS on 16.89 billion in revenue for Oracle tomorrow on Tuesday. I'll start to buy when the SPY gets near the 200. What does America even get? Bitcoin under 68,000 right now for Bitcoin. Still struggling to hold here this morning. The Bitcoin's still down. And last week's job report, again, was not good. Was not good. Terrible jobs report last week. We do have some other stuff. If we take a look at yields this morning, first let's take a look at Market Watch here. So here's Market Watch. Here's the week. All right, so we don't really have anything today. Wednesday, CPI inflation coming out. CPI year over year is expected at 2.4%, and core is expected at 2.5%. Core CPI on the month is expected to dip 0.1%, and headline CPI on the month is expected to go up 0.1%. Now, this is just the first inflation report we get this week. Another thing we get this week is also GDP data. Quarter 4 GDP, this is the first revision, which means it's the first time they're revising the initial estimate. It's expected at 1.5%, showed up at 1.4%. This 1.4% print last time was much lower than expected, and so GDP expected at 1.5. We also have PCE inflation for January. It's delayed data, but it's still relevant. It is expected at 0.3% on the month and 2.9% on the year. Core is expected at 3.1 and 0.4% on the month. We also have JOLTS coming out at 10 a.m. on Friday, expected at 6.8 million. This is after it showed up much weaker than expected last time at 6.5 million. We also have personal income coming out. You can look at these that might be relevant as well. Durable goods, Michigan consumer sentiment data here. And so, yeah. Let's see, guys, let's see. Coinbase is launching 24/5 commission-free stock and ETF trading. They're trying to go into what's called an everything exchange. If you look at Coinbase, so they're trying to basically deal with everything. I would call this like a Robinhood strategy almost with Coinbase, but they're actually gapping down as well here. They're at 194s. Obviously, I think one of the big watches is oil today, and we'll see if these tensions continue overseas into the market open. So, will markets crash at the bell? I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. I think that's what... I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think people are sitting, waiting, seeing if that's going to happen. Tesla stock. 390. It's gotten pushed all the way down here. It's been volatile as well. And this is after Elon essentially changed his strategy, going from selling cars to AI, essentially, is what he's doing. Tesla down to under 390s. We'll see if it holds. If everyone thinks it'll crash, it probably won't. Market will not crash today. This will automatically lower confidence in Bitcoin. Coinbase's moves. Half of my portfolio is in cash right now. Just waiting to turn these six figures into a lot more. Hey, good luck, my friend. Good luck. Market is strong. Yeah, let's take a look at oil and silver, or gold and silver today. Gold sitting under 5100s. It's pulled back. It's pulled back a little bit from last week, but it's mostly flat, to be honest here. Silver is at $83 an ounce here. $83 an ounce. Silver has basically been flat since the start of this month, though. Here's where March started this month. And this is where we're at now for silver. So silver has basically been flat since the start of this month. Not really doing much. Gold, very similar trend here if we take a look at gold. Very similar trend. Not a perfect. Not perfect, but gold's a little bit more rangy. We're sitting right about there right now since the start of March, and this conflict has begun. Everyone and their mother expecting the market crash, so it probably won't. We might see a couple bearish years. Yeah, looking at the Dow here this morning. Here's the Dow. Dow's really down too. But we filled some of the gap to the downside. So we opened up really red yesterday for the Monday open on Sunday. And somebody says 100% buy the dip like last Monday, then sell off Tuesday. Remember, we do have inflation data, CPI inflation on Wednesday. I am in Central Time. Really bad jobs report last week, though, guys. Really bad. What do you mean it's already crashed? No, it has not. Here's the chat. What do you call a crash? What do you call a crash? I call a crash 20+%, really, short term. We can have longer term bear markets, longer term corrections. I call a crash 20+% short term. So I mean, we haven't crashed in anything really. Yeah, we're down from highs. It's not 5%. I think we're down about 9% from the highs. I did the math earlier. Even if we look at the Dow, which probably is one of the more scarier percentage drops, the Dow is at 50.6, I mean, thousand. It is now down. What's it at this morning? It is at 46.9. So the Dow from highs is down about 7.5%. I think the NASDAQ from its highs currently this morning, it's at about 24,400. NASDAQ highs were 26.4s if I remember correctly. So the NASDAQ, I believe, is down about 9% from its highs. Maybe not even that much. If we hit 24,000, if we take it from the low this morning, like if we hit 24,000, this is 9% down right here. So if the NASDAQ touches this level again, that will be 9% down. So if we go from the highs to the lows of the last few months, we're down about 9% in the NQ. Oil is up about 60+%. Just to look at oil. Oil is up a ridiculous amount since the beginning of February. So oil is up about 64%, 65% from where it was in February. Yeah, over 20%, over 20%. Yeah, that's what I call a crash too, is a 20+% drop. And I just don't think we're there yet in markets. Yeah, I just don't think we're at it. You know, we still got a ways to go. Futures are red. Of course, it's going to crash. Yeah, oil over $100 a barrel, and we got kind of rumors and rumblings of oil hitting these levels last week. We really did. We got a lot of talk about this last week from different leaders, basically saying if this conflict continues, they could see oil. You know, one of them said oil $150 a barrel. Do you guys agree with that? Because we're still a long way from that. But will oil hit $150 a barrel? I don't know. I don't know. Let's take a look at yields this morning, guys. Let's take a look at yields. Yields and interest rates follow each other. So let's take a deeper look. One of the other big stories today is the dollar index, which we'll go into soon. But yields, 1.69% right now. You can see they are up from the weekend, causing more instability and fear. So they are up. Yields higher. Rate cut odds after last week's job report are still probably pretty low for this month in March. And it's not looking like we're going to cut rates anytime soon. It's only about a 2.6% chance we get a 25 basis point cut. It used to be June was the majority. Now it is technically the majority of any basis point rate cut by July is over 50%. So it's still looking like we're going to cut rates at least once by July. If we add a 25 basis point cut here, a 50 basis point cut here, 75 basis point cut here. But we really see it pivot in September, where it's looking really likely that we're going to cut rates at least 25 basis points by September. So look it up on the chat. You asked last week if it would hit 125. It can hit 150 out of fear. Yeah, that's true. 120-ish for oil, I reckon. No, it will drop, they say. All the channels the entire week said oil would hit markets, and it's happening. Yeah, it could hit $150 a barrel. No, it won't. Paranoia will destroy you. I think this is the backside for oil. I like Bitcoin long term. Somebody said, "Hey John, what's your opinion on Bitcoin long term?" You know, I was a lot. Look, I held Bitcoin for a long time, and I'm still in it. But I held Bitcoin much more heavily from up until about 2021, 2022. I'm still in it right now, and I'm bullish on it long term. But it's not as much as I was back then. But I'm still in it right now, and I'm still bullish. I'm bullish on Bitcoin and ETH. I think there's a lot of growth there, and we could be in a 4-year cycle, and it's all self-fulfilling anyway. And blockchain's a useful technology, and proof of work, you know, finite amount of them out there. I'm bullish on Bitcoin overall, but short term, I have no idea what's gonna happen to it. As I always say, not an investment professional. Yeah. So right now, yields and the dollar. Another story of the day: the dollar index. Here's the Dixie here. Dixie's up 99.30s. But the dollar index, yields are all moving in the same direction. Yields are spiking. Dollar index is up. This is all from the Iran-driven oil spike pushing inflation and growth worries higher, essentially is what this is. Which means fewer Fed cuts, higher yields, stronger dollar. And so crude is up. It's translating into yields up and dollar up. There's only there's a moderately tight correlation that can break if markets suddenly flip from inflation fears to recession fears. So if we continue to see weakness in the jobs market like we got last week, we could see these correlations switch. But that's the current thing right now, where war and inflation, growth worries, your Bitcoin low will be 49,000. So I'm looking at news that just came out this morning that says Nexperia China says it has successfully achieved small batch production of 12-inch wafer bipolar discrete devices. I bought oil on Friday. Hey, if you did, you're loving life probably right now. US will release reserve oil. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about them considering that, and that might help bring prices of oil down some. Hey, what's up, Don? I bought oil Friday, Pew says. That's good. That's good. I'm sure you're loving life right now. All right, so we have NATO intercepting a ballistic missile entering Turkish airspace fired from Iran, apparently. That's what we got going on right now. Yeah, look at that poly markets and betting markets. If we have to look at them. Crude oil. It's now when the bets are going through here. Look. These are the new bets on poly market regarding crude. Will crude oil hit blank by the end of March? 5% chance it hits 200. 9% chance it hits 180. 22% chance it hits 150. 34% chance it hits 140. 41% chance it hits 130, according to poly market. Not saying these are accurate, but $140 a barrel, there's a 34% chance. 77% at 110, 105, 86, 194. So, and honestly, this might be old because we're already over 100, but there's also a 23% chance that we have a U.S.-Iran ceasefire by the end of this month on March 31st, according to poly market as well. Yeah, and the big question right now is how long this conflict lasts, right? Like, that is the reality of this question, is how long is this conflict? A lot of people were hoping it would only last a couple weeks, and then we got more strikes over the weekend. And what's really driving markets right now is supply fears in oil. That's why oil is popping up so much. We talked about this earlier, but oil spiked because the war moved to direct hits on infrastructure over the weekend. Strait of Hormuz is effectively shut down. Qatar LNG, force majeure, and more. So over the weekend, forces hit two major Tehran area refineries and oil storage sites in Iran for the first time. That's one thing that happened, taking actual refining capacity offline in those areas. Number two was that the Strait of Hormuz has gone from really risky to try to pass through to effectively closed. Drones and missiles torched or damaged a bunch of tankers over the weekend. The IRGC is openly warning that it will attack ships trying to pass through, which means that 20% of the global oil supply is now either disrupted, rerouted, or down. Qatar LNG, which is liquefied natural gas, is off the grid as well. And all of this is causing more oil fears. But that is what's going on in markets right now. Futures are predicting May and June of when this conflict ends. Yeah. I do not believe there'll be a ceasefire. We did a poll with all the craziness. Is it time to buy or sell? 42% say it's time to buy. Out of basically 500 votes, 42% of you guys say it's time to buy. By the way, most analysts aren't predicting over 120 for oil, so don't get too greedy. Yeah, it's an interesting day right now, guys. See what happens. Bitcoin's still sitting at 67,000. I don't know. I don't think Palantir is green on the day. Palantir had news. Yeah, Palantir is technically red on the day. They must remove Anthropic's Claude AI from Maven Smart Systems military platform following a Pentagon directive. As the news, and they're not really reacting well to that. The Palantir's down on the day. It's at 155s. NASDAQ's still pretty choppy in a range, but it is close enough to 24,000 to where that's a level I'm watching today. 24,000 on the NASDAQ. We dropped yesterday in Monday's open all the way down to 24,000 exactly. So we dropped to exactly 24K on the NASDAQ, 24,000 even. Whole dollar number, psychological level. People are going to be paying attention to this. You can see oil starting to dip down on the left side here. Here's oil on the left. So it's starting to dip down short term. National debt on track to rise 20% of GDP in 2036. MicroStrategy also came out with news that they bought almost 18,000 Bitcoin for 1.28 billion at 70,946 an average. We also had the Turkish defense minister coming out saying all necessary steps against threats towards Turkey will be taken without hesitation. Some ammunition parts fell in Southeast province. No casualties in incident. We also had news that Iran is going to supply Tehran with required fuel within 2 days, according to ISNA. What's up, VA? Good morning. Good morning, good morning. In terms of when does this Iran-US conflict end, you can look at betting markets pricing this in here. So betting markets pricing in a 70% chance it ends by the end of June, 60% by the mid-May date, 21% by the end of March, 7% within the next week or so. The question is, what would ending look like? NASDAQ's starting to creep up here. Here's 24.5. So I'm looking at 24.5s, and then below us I'm looking at 24,000 on the NASDAQ. Oil, $150 a barrel makes a good soundbite. Yeah. What's your favorite asset to buy this morning? Let me know in chat right now. What's your favorite asset to buy? Yeah, AbbVie announcing positive top-line results from a phase 1 multiple ascending dose study of AbbVie 295, a long-acting analog in adults. I did see that news come out. Oil almost back to where it was on Friday. Where was it on Friday? Oil on Friday, just to put this into perspective, was $90 a barrel basically on Friday. It's currently at 100 plus right now, but it is starting to come back down on more stability here. To fill the entire gap on oil, it'd have to dip all the way down to here though. So to fill the gap, it would have to drop all the way down there. All right, so I'm asking people what asset would they like to buy. I see MU, Google, a hamburger, bullish on hamburgers, AMD. Oil's up 10% from Friday. My favorite asset this morning is the NASDAQ short. Oil for the short. Physical crude oil. Anybody targeting logistics companies? Oil. Hit the likes. Bullish on the like button, guys. Hit it now. Do it now. Yeah, the McDonald's guy. I don't know how the McDonald's guy didn't think this would backfire on him. Again, I don't eat McDonald's, so I don't know what it tastes like anymore. I do kind of miss a McDonald's burger, though. I won't lie. So I see gold. But the McDonald's guy, man, this dude took a freaking chihuahua bite of this burger. Like, the smallest bite. Like, dude, you're on camera, bro. You're on camera. Like, dude, you better eat that freaking burger. You know? If I'm McDonald's right now, I'm going to be kind of mad about this. Like, dude, you take a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids bite of this burger, a Mouse's bite of this burger, a Stuart Little bite of that burger on camera. You don't expect people to give you crap for it? Of course they're going to give you crap for it. You didn't even eat the burger. You talked it up and then you ate nothing. You know? Like, what was this dude thinking? You know, I saw him post over the weekend, oh, I took my kids to McDonald's. It's like, all right, dude. I heard he's vegan. Vegan would make perfect sense, Joe, if he was vegan, because he didn't want to eat. He took a bite of the bun, is what he took a bite of. Yeah, I saw the fast food war that came from it. I did see that. All right, guys. So right now, defense, energy names, super tankers, and more. Cruise liners. So we can look at NCLH. Down. Norwegian Cruise Line. Down. JetBlue Airline. Down slightly. Down slightly. Culver's isn't the best burger. It's pretty good, though. I like Culver's. We used to have a Culver's right by my house. They closed it down. I don't know how. But those freaking cheese curds. Five Guys is the best burger out of all of them. But it's expensive. Yeah. All right, guys, listen. We have no data coming out at 8:30 today, so we don't have any data showing up at 8:30. Monday and Tuesdays this week could be a little slow. We do have consumer inflation expectations. Last time showed up at 3.1% for February. This shows up at 11 o'clock. We have Mexican CPI inflation that already came out. They showed up slightly higher than expected, but that's basically nothing that's going to really influence things either. NASDAQ is kind of quiet today after yesterday. I'm going to go with this question again, chat. When is this conflict going to end? Put your answer in chat right now. When is this conflict going to end? Oil's still elevated on the day. I'm definitely watching oil. I'd like to trade oil. Yeah, we had a time change. For all my people not in the United States here, we lost an hour. I know you're like, hey, dude, right now it's 7 o'clock in the morning. What happened? Why is everybody saying it's 8? It's because here in the U.S. we have daylight savings time. And so we lost an hour on Sunday at 3 a.m. or something like that. All right, so I asked people how long will this conflict last? 100-ish days. Blaze says June 7th. 84 years, to quote the Titanic lady, according to Keegan. And 10 years, according to Snake. I hope 2 weeks. I hope you're right about 2 weeks. We see somebody saying 2 weeks, because that's the big question with all this stuff, is how long did this conflict last? If people are expecting it to last long periods of time, a long period of time, then oil is going to stay elevated probably. Market might be fearful. 1 month according to Brent here. Is there any news? Could be 20 again. Stocks moving up and down. It's crazy. Yeah, so the NASDAQ opened up pretty red. This happened after we had more strikes over the weekend, basically. And essentially, we got news that the Strait of Hormuz was effectively closed. That they're attacking ships that are trying to pass through. It supplies 20%. 20% of the world's oil goes through there. So if they can't get through, that's basically causing a lot of worry about 20% of the world's oil and stuff being shut down. If you've seen gas prices recently, you know they are elevated right now. And yeah, that's basically what's going on. Forever war. I hope not, Stoned. I hope not. 20 years. 4 years. Yeah, but that's basically what's going on right now, is oil supply worries. Again, Hormuz has gone from risky to pass through to effectively close after we heard news that they were attacking tankers that tried to pass through it. It openly warned that they will attack U.S. ships. Ship tracking data shows traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has effectively collapsed. Again, 20% of the world's oil goes through there. So that's what's going on right here. Qatar LNG is off the grid as well. It's spilling over into the rest of the Gulf. But so between refinery damage and effectively closed off Strait of Hormuz and Qatar's LNG stoppage, traders are now seeing real physical energy shortage risks over the next couple weeks. So oil did pop to over $100 a barrel. If we look at WTI crude, sitting at 101.20s right now, it closed at the bottom here. This is where it closed last week. It is now here. So oil is up, although it has been falling back down some as we get closer to the opening bell here. The NASDAQ is down, gapping down from 24.6s to 24.4s. Hit 24,000 though yesterday. Even 24,000 even. If we take a look at the SPY here, here's the SPY. It's at 666 right now for the SPY. It's 650s. If we take a look at the S&P E-mini again, same thing, 6681s. Right now on the S&P, the Dow has been getting hit as well. The Dow down to 47,000 even, hit 46.3s though. The volatility this morning. Sirens sounded in Bahrain. Kuwait fire contained power water networks operational. Time to get coal fires. Yeah, so oil is dipping down because traders are taking some of this war risk premium off the top, I think. Yeah, Brent went up to 115 to 120 on the Hormuz shutdown. Yeah, so markets are basically pricing in countries could tap strategic reserves, like G7 countries specifically could tap into strategic reserves, which reduce some of the supply worries and helps bring oil down. I think that's what's getting baked into the market right now with oil, where it was much higher. It's still high, but some potential reserves getting tapped into, causing some stabilization in the price is what this is, I think. Yeah, checkboard got this right, I think. Is today a trading day, guys? Are you guys trading this morning? We're going to be trading as well. Just give me a little bit. Yeah, so classic profit taking, volatility, but also potential strategic reserves reducing fear. right now, yields, the dollar are all moving in the same direction. Oil yields and the dollar are all moving in the same direction. People are worried about the war and the prices of oil causing inflation. Inflation fears from oil being so elevated and the stuff going on causing supply problems in oil is why there's that correlation there. I might take the day off. Yeah, we can see Exxon right here. Here's Exxon. Exxon at 152s right now, so it's getting up there. Okay, so the U.S. president will not go to any cities beyond Beijing during his visit to China scheduled for later this month because of his tight schedule and security concerns, according to the SCMP sources. Yeah, I'm watching oil here. We got some... Basically, this is what happened. More strikes happened over the weekend. It made oil gap up substantially. You know, here is Sunday's gap up in oil. So this is where markets opened up yesterday in oil on the left side of the screen. And then they were basically, we heard rumblings that the U.S. is going to tap into reserves potentially. And that made oil come back down. But we're still up. You know, we closed Friday here at 91s for... WTI crude at 91s. We're at 101s here, so I mean, this looks like we're still up over 10% right now in oil. Gap fill today, maybe. Yeah, we'll try to trade some here. Let's see what we got. What's up, Sergio? Hey, good morning. My cover call should pay well today. Time to trade oil, right? Yeah, I'm looking at NASDAQ here. NASDAQ's still rising. Or no, is it? Yeah, this is the NASDAQ. Okay, good. The NASDAQ's still pushing higher here. Yeah, we're kind of breaking past this volume profile too, so maybe we'll trend a little bit better, but I think 24.5s up here makes sense to pay attention to. This level right here at 24.5s. Look at the NASDAQ still surge back up here though, chat. Still moving up. India's government officials confirmed they will not release strategic crude oil stockpiles. We did get this news just come out. India's government officials confirms they will not release strategic crude oil stockpiles. Michael Saylor bought almost $1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin at 18,000 Bitcoin roughly. We had Iran's Guardian Council says the interim leadership council mandate is effectively ended with the new supreme leader appointment on Monday. The question is, does the market fill the gap on the upside today or no? Yeah, I think at the opening bell the last couple months, really, we've seen volatility get unlocked at the opening bell. And so I think today will be interesting to see if we get some of these reactions after the open like we've seen over the last few months in terms of volatility. I think that's what a lot of people are watching today. Are you guys bullish or bearish for the open this morning? We did this poll with all the craziness over the weekend. Is it time to buy or sell? Most people said it was time to buy. 43% said buy. 31% said sell. 25% said neither. And so essentially what we've done over the weekend is we've opened up red yesterday into today's open. And then we filled some of that gap moving back up since then, right? So we opened up, we gapped down, and now we're filling some of that downward gap to the upside where we've been kind of heading up this morning. Bearish at the open. Omega bear. I think a quick correction would be the best at this point. Sunday evening yesterday, market dropped big and now it's back up again. Yeah, that's basically what's going on. Fears. Will we get a market crash is the other question. A lot of people are betting on a market crash. No, we don't really have any data at 8:30. Not today. It's Monday. We have data a lot this week, but it's mostly so we have data tomorrow at 8:15, data Wednesday at 8:30, data Thursday at 8:30, data Friday at 8:30, data Friday at 10. So today's the only real day we don't have anything big, to be honest. Here's a question right now for the chat as well. I think NVIDIA will drag the market back up this week. Yeah, if we take a look at NVIDIA here. NVIDIA was at 190s. It's pulled all the way back to 170s here for NVIDIA. So NVIDIA was at 190s. It's pulled all the way back to 170s. I think one of the big questions is, what's the bigger fear right now? In the wake of everything going on in the Middle East, what's the larger fear? I would say, is the larger fear inflation, or after last week's almost negative 100,000 jobs report, is the bigger fear recession right now? Inflation, to be honest. People saying yes, it's inflation right now. I'm not sure. One of my news sources just reported that regarding where did I see, because of oil prices, stagflation fears, or inflation. We're in a rock and a hard place situation. Inflation caused by war. I think that's the story that we're seeing in yields. Dollar index yields. Is that interest rates and yields follow each other. We've seen yields elevated. Specifically yesterday when the market opened, we saw yields pop up, but they've kind of been correcting back down some. So what we're seeing right now is yields in oil are kind of moving in a similar way here. Here's yields. You can see they opened up really up and then they've dipped down. And remember, yields and interest rates follow each other. So we're seeing some movement in this, but the president also said late yesterday that short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iran nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for the United States, world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently, end quote, U.S. president. But yeah, so yields have been edging higher here over the last week. And this is even in a market that had really bad jobs numbers. So really bad jobs numbers in that regard would normally make yields drop, because weak jobs numbers justifies more cuts. But with all the scariness going on overseas, with all the fear going on regarding oil and pricing and supply, we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing yields go up from inflation fears is what this is. So the dollar index simultaneously has been pushing higher with it. So basically what we're seeing is yields, oil, and the dollar index push up simultaneously. Yields will move to the moon. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in Oracle right now. I hope it goes up, but I'm not the most confident in it. But Oracle, Opened up red. It's now starting to fill the gap to the upside. It's at 153s right now for Oracle right here. If you look at it right here, this is Oracle. Was all this a play to strengthen the dollar? So market fears are here today, guys. Tell me your wisdom, Jonna. You got to put a quarter in, brother. You got to put a quarter in, dude. Palantir long. I don't know, man. We had news about Palantir earlier with Maven Systems. That they have to get Claude AI done by out of their. They have to basically get rid of the Claude stuff through a directive by the Pentagon. Is it time to buy software again? I don't know, man. We saw some big drops in PayPal too, and I'm in PayPal, but PayPal's red this morning again. Again, about 4 minutes ago, we got an Indian government official saying that India will not release strategic crude stockpiles. They have no plan to curb fuel exports. They said gas supplies to fertilizer plants are reduced. No plans to curb fuel exports for now. We'll get additional LPG from US and Canada. Country has adequate jet fuel stockpiles. No immediate plans to hike diesel or gas prices. And that they won't release strategic crude stockpiles. Qatar also said it intercepted an attack again. Let's trade a little bit today, guys. The only logic I have for markets right now is like we're starting to fill some of this gap to the upside. Wish I would have bought this here. Look. We are riding this higher here. Look at these push-ups. NASDAQ still pushing. Will you gamble a little for me? I'm too scared. No, I won't. Yeah, I'm looking at 24.5s up here. Top of the range that I'm looking at, 24.5s, big psychological level. The low of this range on the NASDAQ is basically 24,000 way down here. Because we tapped this earlier. If we zoom out and we look at this, earlier, we came all the way down to 24,000 right here. This 24,000 level, we break underneath that, it might cause fear. Or it might cause support. So I'm just kind of waiting in this big range here. Here's 24.5s. I don't really trust it a ton, though, right now. We could chop leading into this as well. So, yeah, quantum stocks. Let's take a look at these. Here's Rigetti. 16s. QBTS. 18s. So yeah, they are really cheap. The question is, how early is quantum though? Is it still too early for quantum? You might have some value long term, to be honest, in these, but it's not risk free, I think. We're in a bull trap. Are we still too early on quantum, guys? Let me know. Only 20 years away? Oh, that's it? No, I predict Hormuz Strait opens today. I'm usually halfway right and halfway wrong. I think that's really optimistic, friend. Maybe you're right. Does the Strait of Hormuz open today? I don't think so. I think it's really optimistic to think it does this early. But maybe you're right. It's possible. All right, NASDAQ still breaking down a little bit here. Oil still at 101s, though. NASDAQ starting to flush back down. Let's see if it continues. Yeah, I just don't think the straight opens up today. I think that's really optimistic. If it did, we'd see probably a big bull run in stocks, a big dip in oil prices. I just don't think it's going to happen, personally. Yeah, Charles Oliveira, I don't think anybody expected him to do that to Max. I certainly did. I thought I had Max going into it. Yeah, I had Max going into it because Max... Yeah, I had Max going into it. Well, the strait's technically open, but it's not really. So the Hormuz is effectively closed, I would say. They've been attacking any drone or any tankers trying to get through it. We got news over the weekend that they had attacked a couple different ones. So, you know, technically it's open, but not really. Not really. Like, ships aren't getting through right now. That's 20% of the world's oil supply being down right now. That's why oil's so high on the day. So you know, it might not be officially closed, but it's definitely not open. I'll put it that way. VIX is at 30 plus. Yeah, the VIX is elevated here. Look at the VIX right now. Over 30 as we speak here. NASDAQ's still dipping here though, so we are dipping in the NQ here. Who bought HIMS at 15? I definitely didn't. And again, we've been covering market news that drops, but Novo is also pulling patent infringement lawsuits against HIMS and HERS. So you can see HIMS is popping up right now in this news. HIMS is up to 24s. Existing HIMS patent patients can move to Novo drugs if appropriate, they say. So Piper Sandler's Derek Podhazer says oil prices could fall sharply as they rose. Despite a 40% jump in WTI crude last week, U.S. oil field service stocks barely moved. Halliburton fell about 5%, roughly in line with VanEck Oil Services ETF. He says the muted reaction reflects already strong year-to-date gains and skepticism that producers will quickly boost drilling due to capital discipline. If the conflict eases soon, oil could drop as quickly as it spiked, he's saying. And that's absolutely true, but we did get news again. The Indian government will not release strategic crude stockpiles, according to them. No plans to curb fuel exports. Yeah, we already covered the news mostly. Over the weekend, forces hit two major Tehran area refineries and storage sites in Iran for the first time. So we covered that news as well earlier. Again, Hormuz has gone from risky to effectively closed as well. There's a couple different things, but oil's up, NASDAQ's down. Not a good sign. Will crude stay over $100 a barrel this week is the question. And it can sell everything. Not a good sign. Is it time to buy the NASDAQ right here and see if it moves up there to test 24.5s? That's my question. Is it time to buy the NQ here today, guys? So rising oil prices could pose the biggest risk to the inflation outlook, says Barclays' Jonathan Miller. The bank still expects the Fed to deliver 2 25 basis point cuts in June this year and September, but does warn that oil is a key wild card. A 10% oil rise could lift inflation by about 0.2 percentage points within months. Barclays now sees December 26 CPI at 2.7%, while recent data still points to a more stable labor market. Taco trade. Iran produces and supplies sulfur. Wait till PCE numbers, I'm assuming you mean, in 23 minutes. Pre-market bought up because of oil fell. Did uncertainty. What's to say it's not back to 110 tomorrow? Well, there's rumors right now. Again, going back to what David just said here. Wait, I missed it. Hold on, let me go back to the newer one. All right. Pre-market was bought up because oil fell. Did uncertainty. There's rumors of strategic reserves getting released, and that calming oil is basically what's going on. So there's rumors of strategic oil getting released, that calming oil back lower. That's what's ultimately dropped oil prices here. If we look at oil, oil originally, when we opened up yesterday, went to basically 120 a barrel for West Texas Intermediate crude. It went up to 119.50 basically. Since it's dipped back down on rumblings of strategic oil reserves getting released, causing some stabilization in the price of oil is what this is. And so that's basically news. We had new strikes over the weekend that caused oil to spike, ultimately caused the NASDAQ to dip, if we look at it. And then rumors of oil reserves getting released caused oil to come back down to where we are now, basically. And we've seen kind of slow declines in the price of oil this morning, slow rises in the NASDAQ. Although I don't know if any of them are necessarily stable. Yeah, so I don't know if any of this is necessarily stable, but we'll see. We'll see. The question is, does the market crash at the opening bell? What's the buy zone for an oil pullback? Chat, where would you buy oil again right now? Where would you buy oil? Too much of ship traffic messes up the world. Yeah, so more strikes over the weekend caused this, as well as the Strait of Hormuz being effectively closed. Under $100. $80 a barrel, under $100. $90 a barrel. 85 according to Lynn. 92, I'm seeing somebody say. 92-ish. A lot of people say 92-ish. 99, somebody says. Yeah, I don't know. The NASDAQ's still fading, though. Look at the NASDAQ. It's right at the 200 exponential, but the NASDAQ's trying to come back down here. $150? You're buying it at 150, dude? I'm not. 150 is too high. 180. Now y'all are just saying wild things here. $180 a barrel? I don't know, man. There it is. I don't know why I heard this quote in Jeff Goldblum's voice. If you buy oil at 90, 100, then you believe this war will last till June or later. And markets are kind of pricing that in here. Could be 200. Yeah, looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's back up to over 68,000 as we speak here. So Bitcoin is moving up. It was at 67s earlier. It's now at 68.3s for Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's heading back up here. After looking at a long-term chart, I can see oil staying over 100 for an extended period of time. Not that it will, just that it can. Yeah, it depends on how long the conflict lasts, to be honest here. The conflict time frame is the big story right now. How long will this conflict last? Bitcoin going for a liquidity grab. Bitcoin can still drop to 50. Oil's getting shorted like silver was, but it started to rise and then skyrocket. Oil is going to 200 a barrel. It won't last long, though, because of the storage right now. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know, guys. All right, we're going to trade a little bit today, but man. What should we trade? The NASDAQ, oil, the Dow? Crypto? NASDAQ looks like it's fading back down here, and oil is actually starting to head back up some. 102.40s. Look at the NASDAQ dip under the 200 exponential. It's down to 24.370s right now in the NASDAQ. So we're still dropping here. Bro. CME Group Energy Complex reaches all-time daily volume record of 8.3 million contracts. Again, the CME Group Energy Complex reaches an all-time daily volume record of 8.3 million contracts from all the oil trades going on. So oil has been spiking. Brent crude jumped to 119.50 before easing to around 102 after reports that G7 finance ministers may discuss a coordinated oil reserve release. NATO shot down missiles headed for Turkey, raising the risk of bigger, deeper involvement, wider involvement. Strait of Hormuz is nearly shut. Gulf producers face storage shortages. Saudi Arabia has begun cutting output. The president did tweet this morning saying that higher oil prices are a, quote, small price, end quote, for security, and is set to address House Republicans. Yeah, they did name the son, forgive me if I'm saying his name wrong, but Moshtaba Khamenei has replaced his father as supreme leader after U.S. strikes and is expected to maintain a hardline stance as well. Probably over 100 with a hard spike to 115. I'd buy oil in any dip to 85s. Oil starting to spike back up to 103s basically right now for WTI crude. 103s right now. You did pretty good with that name. Did I get it right? I know I didn't get it right, dude. I just, I'm trying. I know I didn't get it right, but I'm going to pretend I did. Polymarket has Betsy last 2 days. Also, guys, you want to help support the channel, use code BT for Apex or Lucid, and BG for Take Profit Trader. Take Profit Trader and Lucid, both super relaxed rules. Take Profit Trader 40% off right now if you use my code BG. Great way to help support the channel. I appreciate the love. And again, if you want to help support your boy here, check out Take Profit. Lucid has a direct to funding option. You can use my promo code BT on Apex as well. But yeah, check them out. Again, Take Profit, some of the most relaxed rules. 40% off right now. Just a great way to learn. Most day traders lose money. And so if you fund your own account thousands of dollars, you're probably just going to lose at day trading. If you're new, Most day traders lose. I don't care what course you take, who you follow. Most day traders are going to lose. And so it makes no sense to fund your own account so much money, really, when most day traders lose. Try this. They give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo in futures. In the futures market, no PDT rule. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, gold, commodities. Great way to learn. If you fail, you only lose the challenge fee. If you pass it, you get funded the same amount. So if it's a 50K account, you get 50K in funding. 80% split on Take Profit. Here's the link if you want to help support the channel. Yeah, here's the link right there if you want to help support the channel. I'll pin this to the top of the chat. Yeah, when you lose money in trading, you learn a little bit. Like, people always talk about day trading like you could just get right into it. Dude, you're about to lose if you get right into it. Very few people win immediately. You know why? Is because you have to respect risk. And before you lose, you don't really respect it. You don't really understand. I lost thousands when I first got started. This is not an uncommon tale. Most traders have this happen to them. Yeah, with Take Profit, you can take daily payouts too once you're over their buffer. You can take daily withdrawals. So super useful. I feel attacked. Silver and gold are some of those assets right now that are kind of... It's really hard to figure out what these are doing here. Here's silver. Silver's at 84s. They've had some wild swings over the last few months for silver and gold. Hit 97. Silver hit 120s. And now they've basically been in a large but sideways range since early February for silver. You know, here's the range they've been in since early February. So they've gone down big, they've gone up big. Now they're somewhere in the middle right here for silver. So regarding where does silver go, I really don't know here. Yeah, I really don't know what silver does. Here's gold. Gold is similar as well. Although gold, you put up a 20-day chart. Gold's a little bit more sideways, I'd say. Silver, I'd say, is a little bit more green, but big level on gold you probably want to watch is this 5,000 level right here. 5K is the bottom of their, you know, couple month range. And so when we break under 5,000, it's relevant, I think. On the NASDAQ, that level is 24,000, which is still a ways away from where we are now, but we did hit that in Sunday's open yesterday. So here's 24,000 on the NASDAQ. I think that's a really relevant level here. The 24,000 probably pretty relevant to pay attention to. So gold is approaching. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. We are going to day trade this, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Tesla's down so much, man. That, you know, Tesla getting more involved with AI and less in cars is interesting, but it's a bigger risk, and I think that's what people are pricing in with all the stuff going on right now. Tesla has dipped from, you know, it was almost at $500 in December. It's now down to under 400s. So obviously there's still some risks here. Let's not forget the scare for average Joes. Yeah, if you've tried to buy oil lately, you know oil's up. Buy the dip did not work on Friday. Yeah, this abbreviation is buy the freaking dip. But I think a lot of people are pricing in just oil shocks. I think the pivot kind of went to oil shocks here, to be honest. So oil supply fears is causing worries now, is what this is. Gold is at the top. Revenue is down on Tesla. The rocket higher will be incredible. We did a poll earlier. Look at this poll. So with all the craziness over the weekend, is it time to buy or sell this morning? 43% say it's time to buy. Is it time to buy the dip? I don't know, man. Tesla. Here's the QQQ. Yeah, this is the big story. So we've talked about this a couple times, but you can see what Stoic is saying, which is that G7 countries are considering releasing oil reserves. This is ultimately what calmed the price of oil this morning, but it's still pretty high. It's still up over 10% relative to where we closed on Friday for oil. So oil's still higher, although it is starting to come back down some, and it has been over the past, over the pre-market session, essentially this Monday. So. By the oil dip. Yeah, I ate crawfish yesterday as well. I did eat crawfish yesterday for the first time this year. So shout out to crawfish. All right, guys. You can see what Poly Market is posting in here. Like, look at this. Will the Iranian regime fall by June 30th? Currently, there's a... wait, go back. Go back. I don't know what happened to it. 32% chance that's going to happen here, according to Poly Market. And then here's the QQQ, which is basically the NASDAQ. Opened up pretty red this morning, or yesterday, but filled some of the gap on the upside. So here's where it closed. This is where it opened up, basically. And here's where it's at now. So we are still net down from where we were Friday, but not as down as much as we were. NASDAQ itself, futures contract hit 24,000. It's always story time. Yeah, it's an interesting day, guys. It's an interesting day. Let's see what oil does. $24.66 last night. That's actually a pretty good entry, Matt, if you got it at 24.60s. Again, we're going to get ready to day trade here. Hold on. Lisa Direct. Two micros went to bed. Time for a Netflix run finally. I think Netflix is down some here. I'm in Netflix still. Check out Netflix right here. So I'm in Netflix. It's at 97.80s. But it's down a little bit on the day, I think, as well, with everything else. I'm going to end this poll and we're going to ask another poll here in chat right now. So I'm going to end this poll. We're going to ask another one. Universal Health strikes a 835 million talk space deal in mental health push. We're going to do another poll this morning, guys. And the poll is going to ask, when does this conflict end? When does this Iran conflict end? Two weeks? 1 month? Two months plus? 3 months plus? Alright, vote on the poll. When does this Iran conflict end? Is going to be the question on the poll now. Yeah, I saw Netflix downgraded. All right. Yeah, I'm buying one of the Lucid. Lucid actually has a really good direct-to-funding option here. Wait, what happened? There it is. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm getting one of the 25K direct-to-funding options. Total, it is 238 direct to funded, which really isn't bad here, chat. That's really not that bad. We're gonna use Ninja data feed. Okay, what is going on? Oh, this isn't the right card. That's the right card. Define conflict. Yeah, looking at our poll, 47% think it's gonna last over 3 months here. That's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, that's not small here. That's not small. Alright, guys. I'm looking at the 50K direct to fund on Lucid. I don't know. I think it's going to work in Germany. Remember to use my promo code BT on Lucid. Yeah, I don't know why. Checkout's not working. It's strange. I'm trying to get it. I can't even make the screen go away here. Weird. Alright, let me just refresh this. Let me go back here. Sorry, I'm trying to check out here. Yeah, so after the promo code, if you use promo code BT on Lucid, direct to funded 25K accounts 238. It's pretty cheap. It's not super expensive here. Bro, I don't know if they're down right now or what, but Yeah, BT. Yes, sir. Perhaps the more significant question for economies and markets is how long would the straight be closed? 364. If you use my coupon code, it's like 238. So. Yeah, if you use my coupon code, it's like 238. Pretty cheap. I believe it's one time. I don't think they do monthly memberships at Lucid, which is even more useful. So I think it's one time. Yeah, there's no daily loss limit below the initial trail. Max loss limit is $1,000 on it. Drawdown type is end of day. You can use 2 mini or 20 micros on the directed funded option. It's really not that bad. Yeah, Lucid has 50% all evals. So it's really not that bad. Dude, I don't know what is going on. I don't know if Lucid is down right now. Let me know if it lets you guys check out. Weird. BT is my promo code there. Is the music too bad here, guys? Let me know. Yeah, so I think it's 50% for new users, 30% for returning. $15 to 20 million barrels a day the world needs. Yeah, the Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. Right now, effectively closed. So music sounds like Vampire Choir. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Oil coming back down, though. So here's $100 a barrel for oil. It's at 100.6 right now. The oil is coming back down. Music is perfect. The market is chaos right now, to be honest. So yeah. Oil, here's $100 a barrel. I'm definitely watching this in oil to see if it holds. Yeah, if you want to check out Lucid for all those asking here, here's my link to Lucid right here. Coupon code BT. Yeah, there's the link right there. I'm gonna pin this one to the top of the chat. All right, NASDAQ still testing that 200 EMA. I'm on my way to go open the straight. Let me know when you do, bro. Yeah, we're here. I love gold. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at stuff to buy right now. I don't know what to buy. I'm looking at poly market. I'm looking at yields. Yields are actually net down on the day, though, if we take a look at them. So, like, look at yields. So, yields are actually falling. They're at 4.16. But they are elevated still. All right, so Israel is reportedly resuming limited gas exports to Egypt, according to new base citing AI, or citing out Arabia Business. So it says the U.S. and Israeli campaign is nearing the achievement of its military objective, according to senior officials. Maybe we can get the straightened out soon. Maybe. Until then, oil is going to be interesting to watch, I think. A grill? I don't know, man. I don't know about a grill, dude. One of my teeth, I had to pull one of my teeth. I still haven't got it fixed in the back. But no grill for me anytime soon. I do like this quote, straight out of Hormuz. Love it. Love it. What is going on with this music? I'm not feeling this one. This one's a little bit too serious. All right, guys. This is a challenge account on Apex. We might just kind of risk it. Here, let's see. Right? Hey, look, this is a challenge account. I'm just going to buy it here wildly. We'll buy 10 contracts. We're just playing with this one. So we'll see what happens here. Hold on, let me see how much. Okay, this is a $25,000 account, so we need 1,500 bucks. We're just going to try to pass it in one go here. There we go. We're going to take some off and then add back on a dip if we get it. Add more here. There we go. Nice. Take some more off. We're up about 5. We're a third of the way there. NASDAQ starting to rip. Let's see if there's any news. G7 countries are buying time. Last night, FT reported that G7 countries are considering releasing oil reserves, potentially as much as 400 million barrels as oil prices surge. It said prices down about 20%. G7 countries have 1.2 billion barrels of crude oil reserves, which is equivalent to 60 days of oil flow through the strait. Macron, which is France's president, says they are setting up ship escort mission to reopen the Hormuz Strait as well. And so now we're down here. We're still up 470 or so in the day, but we will add to this, but we are going to cut it if we need to. So we're in 15 contracts. We're just kind of scalping this move. We've already made a bunch, so we can take the risk here. There we go. There we go. Let's see if the fears start to calm a little bit and NASDAQ rebounds and oil dips. All right, there we go. We're going to take some more off here. Hey, what's up, Sam? Good morning, sir. Sub 100 oil, it's possible. I'm gonna add to a winning position here and then be a little bit tighter on my risk. We got about 15 minutes until the opening bell here. The IRGC states that we used super heavy missiles in the latest wave of attacks. There we go. Up more. I'm going to take some more off here. Look at that bounce. We're catching the rise back up here. There we go. We'll take most of this off and then add back. We're up about 900 on the day here. Microsoft. All right, I have 2 contracts left though. We're up about 9. I'll probably hold this break even now and see if it keeps pushing. And we bounced right at my entry. We'll give it a second now. On the upside, Jim Cramer said he doesn't see a path to de-escalation. Yeah, that might be good news though, friend. Yeah, that might be good news. That might be the biggest bull sign of the year, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, the reason I say it's good news is because there's something called inverse Cramer. So if Cramer says no, it might mean yes. And so if Cramer says he doesn't see signs of de-escalation, that might be meaning we see signs of de-escalation. Just to clarify. It's not like I'm celebrating more conflict. I'm actually saying maybe Jim Cramer's wrong. All right, 14 minutes here. 14 minutes, chat. I mean, most of the time I read the troll chats, but sometimes I don't comment on them because I think it'll be more about working around Iran versus working with them. All right, so we're going to cut this break even on the rest. We're up 850 on this. We'll give it a little second here. I'm not putting it past the market open to be volatile, though, to be honest. Opening bell could be volatile. We'll see. Yeah, there's the dip. We'll wait for this now, but... When's GTC for NVIDIA here? Hold on. Isn't it in the next couple weeks? It'll be on March 16th through the 19th, so that is roughly next week. So we have GTCs next week. The keynote for NVIDIA is going to be on Monday next week. It'll be at 11 o'clock PDT. I hate Pacific time. It'll be at 1 o'clock Central. Okay. I see no fears. Market's going to stay higher. Intel doesn't look bad for a quick scalp. Yeah, let's look at this here. So look at oil, guys. Oil has now fallen under $100 a barrel. Oil now under 100. You can call me Stone Buddy, but later when I beat the markets, can you interview me in an Ed Thorpe style? How did you beat the market? No, I will not. Strait of Hormuz hits global energy. Again, the near closure of the strait, a key route for 25% of seaborne oil and 20% of liquefied natural gas, disrupted tankers, backups in the Persian Gulf, filling storage and production cuts by Saudi Arabia signal the conflict is shifting from military to economics. JP Morgan's desk says we are now tactically bearish. A definitive off-ramp to the conflict will end this tactical call as underlying macro fundamentals remain supportive of risk assets. The S&P is 3.2% below all-time highs, and this conflict risk pushing the S&P into correction territory, according to JP Morgan's desk. So again, they're signaling that S&P could drop more into a correction style move because of all the stuff going on. You guys agree with that? So we've done a poll here. 46% think 3 months or more. 46% in our voting thinks 3 months or more. Well, the job market's weak, but it's kind of taken a backseat to the Iran conflict in terms of what's moving markets. Oil is so elevated from this conflict that the jobs market, while it's a relevant part of the economy, it's kind of taking a backseat to all this stuff, is what this is. So the jobs market is important, but the conflict is kind of center, if that makes sense. Yeah, timing. Timing is everything. Stonks go up. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at my stocks portfolio as well. Bitcoin has fought its way back up to 68,000. It was at 67s earlier. So it's moving a lot today. And just to go back into this, we do have a lot of economic potential shocks this week. with all things considered here. Wednesday, we have CPI inflation right here. CPI inflation. Wednesday. Thursday, jobless claims, housing starts, building permits, trade deficit data. Friday, we have GDP first revision, PCE inflation for January, personal spending and income, the JOLTS job report after last week's negative 92,000 jobs print for non-farm payrolls. And so we do have some potential shocks in the labor market this week, or in inflation data this week coming out. So a lot of stuff coming out, to be honest, this week. It's worth paying attention to. We're heading into the opening bell, though. Let's see what we get. I'm showing Iraq's Kirkuk crude oil flows to Turkey's Ceyhan port stopped on March 9th, according to shipping sources. And oil prices have dipped now under 99.5 a barrel. This is from potential stabilization, from oil reserves potentially getting released. And oil is now sitting right around $100 a barrel for WTI crude. Yeah, the U.S. Open. So Parth, we had what's called daylight savings time here in the U.S. And so really it would be 8:30 market time right now. 8:20 something market time. It is now 9:20 something market time. So the market opens up in 6 minutes today. In 6 minutes, we lost an hour, basically. On Sunday, we have what's called daylight savings time here in the U.S. So now the market opens up in five and a half minutes. And so that's essentially what's going on. And we might buy this dip again here. Let's see. A little close to the opening bell. Oh wait, we have the market on open coming out soon, don't we? So I'm gonna keep this a little smaller. Actually, we'll hold this 3 contracts, but I was gonna take more than that, but we'll keep it kind of small here since we have the market on open potential coming out. Yeah, EU and UK change clocks in a couple weeks. Bullish or bearish today? They think the conflict's gonna last 46 months. Or I don't know why I just said that. They think the conflict is gonna last 3 months plus. 46% of the chat thinks that. Oh my goodness, guys. Y'all are supposed to tell me we're dropping this big. I'm gonna cut this and get out. This might be the market on open data coming out. So we'll wait until the bell now. Just to recap the morning here. Just to recap the morning, what's going on today, guys, is we had more strikes over the weekend. Refineries got hit over the weekend. They hit 2 major Tehran area refineries and oil storage sites in Iran for the first time, taking actual capacity offline. This is also after the Hormuz has gone from risky to try to pass through to effectively closed. They're attacking ships trying to get through. IRGC openly warning it will attack ships if they try to get through the Strait of Hormuz, meaning about 20% of global oil flows are down. Qatar LNG is off the grid as well. This is all causing oil fears. Oil is sitting close to $100 a barrel right now heading into the open. And now we have opened up pretty red on the day, filled some of the gap back up. And the question is, do we continue the red brutal action right now? Do we continue the red scariness today? 46 months is the answer? 46 months. That would be basically 4 years. I hope not. I hope it doesn't last 4 years. Yeah, Bitcoin is making moves here. Look at Bitcoin right now. 68.6s heading into the opening bell. So Bitcoin is moving. And this is ahead of this week's inflation data on Wednesday. Secretary of State Rubio says goals of Iran mission are clear to destroy missiles. Bitcoin is rising almost to 69,000 this morning, though. We're going to watch oil and the NASDAQ at the bell, though, here. Oil and the NASDAQ. Yeah, I mean, it could last that long. I hope it's not. But it could, of course. I mean, conflicts are conflicts. They can drag on. I hope not, though, to be honest. I really genuinely hope they don't. But yeah, it certainly could. Inflation will come in hot. If inflation comes in hot, we're going to hear the word stagflation a lot. Did that rhyme? That did rhyme. Hey, listen. But no, if inflation comes in hot, we're going to hear the word stagflation a lot. 100%. Because this is after last week's really bad jobs report, negative 92,000. If we get high inflation on top of weak labor, everybody's going to be saying, yo, we're in a stagflation environment. And I'm not even disagreeing with that. I think that's probably true. Is it preceding a recession this time, though, is the question. All right, guys, here's the open. Let's see what we get today. Opening bell is almost here. We have about a minute left. I don't know. My prediction is 6 to 8 weeks. Is my prediction. Again, I might be wrong. I'm just saying stuff. Maybe it's confirmation bias. I want it to happen. I want it to only last that long, and so I hope it does. But you never know. It could drag on much longer than that, to be honest. So we'll see. I hope it doesn't, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm kind of jealous. My whole family doesn't have to wake up early. Except for me, guys. Except for me. Top 3 most correct predictor? Well, you definitely didn't pay attention to that jobs report. I thought the jobs report would show like a 70,000 jobs gain. We ended up showing up at negative 92. So maybe inflation data. I'll give myself some credit for predicting it correctly sometimes, but definitely not jobs reports. All right, guys, here we go. Here we go. I should have held that long I was in because that long looked good. It's starting. We're still pushing up in the NASDAQ, but here we go, guys. The opening bell is upon us. There it is. If that's delayed, hit the live button next to the play button, put it in 2x speed. We can see the NASDAQ starting to push at the opening bell. So the NASDAQ is actually moving up some. Netflix has bounced a little bit here. We're looking at NVIDIA a lot, though. NVIDIA at 177s. We're looking at the price of oil as well. Oil just dipped under $100 a barrel for WTI crude. So we're seeing some rebounds specifically in Netflix. Alphabet, Amazon, Meta is down, actually. Microsoft is pushing up as well. It's at 407s. Oil's coming down. NASDAQ moving up, though, since the opening bell. Yeah, good luck, guys. We are at the opening bell. NASDAQ is up to 24.5s here. I am watching 24.5s. I have to wait a couple minutes and let this opening bell play out first, but I do like 24.5s. Bitcoin. Look at oil down to 98.80s. Bitcoin's rising as well. Rubio says world will be a safer place when the conflict is finished. Oil coming down now. 98.80s a barrel. NASDAQ at 24.5s basically right now. VIX is starting to jump. Well, the VIX is going to jump as the NASDAQ goes down. If the NASDAQ's moving up, the VIX will move up with it. Or no, I'm sorry, the VIX will move down with it. Yeah. All right, guys, so the NASDAQ has opened up. We are a couple minutes into the day here. I got to just wait, though, for my trades. It depends on what oil does here as well. I think oil's guiding a lot of stuff. If oil continues to drop, the NASDAQ will continue to jump here, I think. So we'll see. But See if we keep pushing higher here on the NASDAQ. Oil's still dipping down though. Look at oil jump. Oil's still falling down here. We gotta wait. All right, so we have had oil jump a little bit in the NASDAQ dip some here. Oil bounce. I don't think I'm gonna day trade today. Sorry, Sam. Bitcoin to 80,000. Bitcoin's at 68. 68 sevens here. 68 sevens. Yeah, so far, I mean, I don't know. I'm watching for the orb breakout here, to be honest. So I am watching for the orb. We'll see if we get it, but I am looking for it. So, yeah. I am looking for the opening range breakout really here. I might be messing around with other stuff, but I'm looking for the orb. And so a tighter opening range isn't the worst. Here's the open range we see. So. Let's see if we get a bounce. Official sources of the Ministry of Energy say the pumping of gas to Egypt has been completely halted since the beginning of this war. Any talk of returning to pumping at small rates is completely incorrect. So oil is starting to give it back some at the opening bell. But we're still waiting here. Oil's still falling down here. Yeah, so look at oil dip, but the NASDAQ starting to come back down as well here. We get close to 24,000. The more we break down, if we break down underneath some of these levels here. So if we break down under the 200 exponential right here, I might short it, but I'll still be going long as we stay over about 24 fours. Is the president supposed to do a speech today? I don't know. I don't see anything. All right, so there's the NASDAQ come back down. I'm going to look for the 10-minute opening range breakout. Really, I like to watch the Q. But we're going to look for the 10-minute opening range breakout here. This one I like the most. Kind of forming it now. Here's the orb that we're looking at. Still forming. We're about 7 minutes into the day, so I'm going to let it form the 10-minute one and wait. You speaking at 2 o'clock on what? I'm checking for the schedule. The EU is going to open further Taylor maritime defense operation. Okay, so that we just had a joint statement by the European Commission, by President von der Leyen and President Costa regarding the war here. So let's talk about what happened. So EU just had a video call with Middle Eastern countries. They denounced the indiscriminate strikes, expressed solidarity with regional population and thanked partners. They reiterated pressure on Iran over nuclear and missile programs and international repression while calling for protection of citizens, civilians. All sides discussed attacks on the infrastructure and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, agreed to deepen cooperation to mitigate energy risks. Alright guys, so here's our orb here. We're about 10 minutes into the day. So this is our opening range breakout on the NASDAQ that we're looking for. We have a script. We are at the 200 exponential though. But as we break down, we are almost 10 minutes into the day, so I'm going to let this form. We pushed up originally at the opening bell, and now we're kind of moving back down. So here's the 10 minutes period since the opening bell. NASDAQ still flushed again here. Excuse me. The VIX is back in the 30s. Yeah, it's definitely elevated on the day with all the stuff going on over the weekend, scaring people, to be honest. So it's elevated for sure. So we did get news that the White House is reportedly considering the release of strategic petroleum reserves, but so far has not made a formal decision. Politico sources say that there's pretty fierce opposition to tapping SPR. It's a half measure at best. So we're seeing this news. Yeah, so that news actually came out, Sam. That news came out maybe 30-40 minutes ago, actually. Alright, so here's the orb retest. We'll look for it on a potential short. But look at that pop as well. So we are popping right up. Yeah, it actually came out a longer time than... Yeah, I saw it a while ago, to be honest. So here's the retest. We're still watching this here. I'm going to look at NVIDIA as well, to be honest. Oil starting to rise. Okay, actually, my apologies. Sam is actually correct. This is another alert from NATO saying they have intercepted another missile headed there. So actually, Sam is correct. This is not the old one. This we had news of this about a few hours ago. This is actually another one. Is what this is. So yeah, so this is another one here. Oil bouncing up. See what happens. Here's NVIDIA. Like, we've traded a few combine accounts here. I'm not really trusting too much. A lot of what's going on. I will short if we find something good. All right, there's NVIDIA breaking down. Like, we're still kind of short in one of our accounts here. This is one of our other accounts that we just took a withdrawal on. I want to see if we break down some more here. But this is the first time I've really traded my funded account today. I want to see if we break down more. If not, I'll cut it, which it looks like I'm going to have to here. Oh no, I just added double size. Did not mean to do that. We'll see if it helps me, but I did not mean to do that. Stupid. Yeah, we're down about 4 now. I really didn't mean to do that. Eek. And now we ended up just making a bunch here just to show you guys. I'll cover a lot of this right down here. I didn't mean to take this big a size, so we're really only down about 150 on the day in this one, but I really did not mean to take that big of size. And we'll hold the rest here pretty close to break even. We'll let it try to break down now. We're shorting here after the orb kind of test. There we go. We'll take a little bit more off here. Just kind of risk manage this. Take another piece off there. I'm going to cut the rest right there. So yeah, we ended up having like a $400 loss, and then we basically came back. Now we're down about $100. But I'm not going to really mess with this too much. The volatility today is kind of wild here. All right, we just jumped back in another short. I'm going to add to this and then hold the rest break even. Hopefully it breaks down and cracks lows. It might take a little while though. Take one off there. We're still flushing down. I'm going to take the rest of this off right here. So now we're actually green in this, you can see. But catching that orb breakdown here. Outside of that, we've traded a couple combines or challenges today, evals, I should say, today. But looks like I got out just in time. Look at NVIDIA spike. And then here's the NASDAQ. Rebounding very quickly. Market's playing games today. Well, I think Rubio might be done. I haven't seen him say anything in the last 10 minutes or so. Rubio has spoken though today, but I haven't seen him say anything in the last 10 minutes, give or take. So, yeah, we're kind of slowly ranging at this point in time. We're not really doing anything that looks good, I would say. I gotta just sit around. We don't really have any economic news coming out today either. So, shorting in this account a little bit more as we speak here, but it's not a huge trade. We'll add to this here and just play with the risk. Well, now we're about flat on the day here, to be honest. We're starting to push up. I got to cut most of this. Give it 1 second to see if it rejects at the 200 EMA, but yeah, now we're actually down. We're kind of going back and forth. It doesn't mean anything quite yet, though. See if we can break down onto that 200 EMA level again. There we go. Yeah, the NASDAQ doesn't know where it wants to go here. Oil sitting right at $100 a barrel. So I don't know if we want to go underneath it or over it now. We're kind of somewhere in the middle here. It's hard to tell where this wants to go. I think it wants to go. It's hard to tell. We're down so much that maybe the trend will be good, but we're kind of sideways over the last few minutes here. Not really doing much. There we go. Okay, we jumped in another short on this one. We'll take some more off here. We are catching the short. Take a little bit more off there. And we'll cut the rest here, I think. We're up 233 in this account now. We've had a pretty good run in this account too. Yeah, just to show you the run we've had in this account. Look at the run we've had here. This is since February 1st in this account. We don't trade it every day, but this is February 1st. We've had 2 losing days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 2 out of 14 winning days. Or 2 out of 14 losing days. Yeah, we have this range that we're in on the NASDAQ. It's not really looking very good. I've been shorting the 200 exponential though, is what I've been doing. If you guys are wondering what like strategy I'm using. The 200 exponential right here, we've had this tight range with the top being right around the 200 EMA, as well as the opening range being broken. And so we use those two strategies in conjunction with each other and just kind of rode the downward pressure down to the bottom of the range and covered anytime we got towards this low. But when we zoom out here, it's not really looking good either. Like it looks like we're in a downward trend, but all right, we're at 24.3s. Oil back over $100 a barrel now. Yeah, confluence, conjunction, it's all basically the same. Yeah, I mean, I always like the 200 exponential volume weighted average price. You know, I look at both of these levels, and then I also use them in confluence with major milestone areas. So examples of this, number one, I'm looking at big whole dollar numbers like 300s, 400s. This 400 level and the 200 EMA are close to each other here as well. So again, Japan's finance minister says she had online meetings with G7 finance ministers. You guys green or red so far today? Let me know. We're about 30 minutes into the open. Let me know in chat right now. Are you red or green so far today, guys? Red or green? Green. No trades. I've been liking the E-mini a little bit better. All right, so looks like people loading on NVIDIA calls. Let's see if it works out for them. Red, 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 rojo, red. Sitting on hands. 300 green. Nice cash. Green. Red. I've not entered any trades yet. Stoic. President said Gaza's peace plan on hold as Iran conflict pauses disarmament talks, according to reports. Green, green. I don't know. I'm red, and I lost a couple evals, to be honest. But I'm green in the funded account that I traded today, which is good. So I'm a little bit of both, to be honest here. Stay green. I'm a hot girl, BG. The block is hot. The block is hot. That's all I'm saying. Salsa, red, gold. NASDAQ at 5080s. Hard to trade. I mean, I think we've been in a downward trend. I think the downward trend's been easier to attack. So buy the VIX. Vegas, hey. I mean, I still think we're looking red in the NASDAQ. Oil's back higher here since the opening bell. Because again, the story of the day, just to understand this, is that, like, this is the story. More strikes happened over the weekend, hurting supply. Strait of Hormuz is basically closed. That caused a lot of fear. Oil jumped. NASDAQ gapped down over the weekend when it opened up yesterday. Since then, we've heard news from G7 countries that they might potentially tap into reserves. And so prior to the opening bell, this stabilized oil some, and we saw oil prices decline leading into the opening bell. Dropped under $100. It's now right at $100 right now. And because of that, we saw the NASDAQ rise. Now, over the last 25 minutes or so since the opening bell, one of the things we've seen is a reversal of that dynamic where oil is pushing up. It's now over $100 a barrel, and the NASDAQ has pushed down since the opening bell right here. And that's where we are now. Red open for the NASDAQ, green open in oil futures. But none of the moves have been big enough since the opening bell to really get a good idea of a trend. And it's been kind of whippy price action. Like, that's essentially what we have today. You know, we do have CPI inflation later this week. We got PCE inflation, GDP data, JOLTS job report. All of that is coming out this week. And so it is one of those things where you just need to be careful. You just need to be careful. But that's basically the market today, guys. It's too choppy. Yeah, we're now basically right at the open again. Or we're basically at $100 a barrel now for oil again. And we'll see if that continues. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. NASDAQ just rejected right at the 200 exponential again. We're watching it here, guys, but honestly, we've been kind of like, we have a range, but it's not an easy range to attack. Oil just broke under $100 a barrel, though, on the left side here. So Buy or sell right now? Bitcoin is pumping. Yeah, I'm looking at Bitcoin. I'm also looking at the orb today. And again, here's my orb script that we developed. This short doesn't look terrible, but I'm also worried that we're going to continue down here. I've been scalping mostly today as well. Yeah, for sure. Trade evade updated so they can manually lock out. That's nice. Okay, so Japan's finance minister Katayama says G7 joint statement will mention specific steps, including the release of oil reserves. So we'll see if oil still spikes. And with that said, though, guys, I mean, look, we are now at 10 a.m. We didn't really have any data today, so the data's been a little light. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Remember, guys, the Apex sale does have one more day left. So Apex is 85% off sale, does end tomorrow at midnight. Really, technically, it'd be Wednesday at midnight. But if you want to use my Apex code, you can use BT or BG on Apex. Cheapest accounts in the game, to be honest. They recently updated to where, if you look at this, and again, these are all affiliates of mine, so I'm biased, of course. But now you have an end-of-day drawdown option. No more payout denials. No MAE risk. 5-1 risk-reward rule is gone. Built-in scaling and 50% consistency rule. Only once you're funded. And so it's useful. It's useful. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel here. Here's the link. There's the link right there in chat if you want to help support the channel. You can also check out Lucid. Again, Lucid has its direct-to-funding option as well here. So, realistically, I'm going to pick up probably a couple of these. I'm going to pick up probably a couple of these for Lucid in terms of their if you look at Lucid here, Lucid has some of the most relaxed rules in the game as well, but they have their direct to funding option. $238 with the coupon, BT coupon at checkout. So I'll be checking that out too. If you want to check all of this stuff out, you can check the description. I'll put the link up. Make sure it's up in the description. But yeah, useful, guys. I'm probably going to cut out of here. Yeah, give me a second. I'll put the Lucid link up. There we go. All right, so all of that stuff's in the description right now, guys. All of it's in the description. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Y'all be safe. I'm going to cut out of here green in my funded account today. I'll cut out of here green. You know? And yeah, y'all be safe today. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. As soon as I close this stream, it'll bring you to tomorrow's stream, though. See you, chat. Have a great day. Yeah, see you guys. Have a great day.